Hey guys, we're back to more Lyre. Last time we had the winter solstice ball, and I don't know, it's pretty fun. And now they're in Lyall's room. And then they did actually kiss, right? And then they went to Lyall's room, and they did actually kiss. And then nothing else happened in particular, right? We're fading to black. Nothing else happens in particular during the fade to black. And we continue the story, and nothing in particular happened there, right? Nothing in particular. It's been a few minutes since we finished, and we're laying next to each other, holding hands. They finished, nothing in particular. Thunder rumbles outside of the window, and it's calming in an odd sort of way. It's nice, being safe and warm in here during what's most likely a small lyzzard. His paw is much bigger than my hand, and I feel so safe with it resting there. Wow. Hey guys, it's Lyall. Wearing noticeably less clothes, but that's because while nothing in particular was happening, it got kind of hot because of the fire, right? The fire makes it really warm. So Lyall, he took off his clothes, right? And only for that reason and nothing else in particular. What is he wearing? I don't know, I'm not gonna think about too much. I'm not gonna think too much about the underwear he's wearing. Yeah. You're amazing, my love. He squeezes my hand a bit, saying this in a mocking tone. Hehe. They did nothing in particular, remember. You're calling me that now? I mean, only if you want me to. I don't know. What would you prefer I call you? Richter? I mean, other than that. Well, I always liked love. Did you now? It's simple and rolls off the tongue. Very well. Crosses his arms with a bit of a grin. What? What about my lord? God, Lyall, you know I hate that. Really? I find it sexy. I giggle at this and roll over on top of him. Fine. You can only call me my lord under very specific circumstances. Like? When we're alone together. When your paw is entwined with my hand. Moments like this. He brings his paws up around my arms, slowly moving them up to my shoulders and then the side of my face. I can feel his paws brushing against my beard slightly as he caresses my cheek. His other paw then moves back down and holds my hand gently. Very well, my lord. He leans forward and presses his lips to mine. I give in and kiss him back, taking the back of his head in my hand. My hands run through his thick mane as he runs his paws up and down my back. I pull away from him, and he gasps in pleasure, sitting up. And what will you have me call you? I can see him thinking about it. Pal? Hell no. Buddy? No? Good boy? I swear I can see his tail wag for just a moment, before he reaches around and places his paw on it. Very funny. But no, absolutely not. I was thinking something more along the lines of my knight, if that's okay with you. Goes along with yours. But love also works. They're getting really invested in these pet names. I rest my head onto his chest and rub my cheek onto his fur. My knight. I say this in a swooning voice, which causes him to laugh. You don't have to say it like that. Knock. There's a knock on the door. Shit. He swings his legs off of the bed and runs over to a tall dresser standing up against the wall. Lord Richter? I'm not sure who's speaking. Hearing this, we both turned our heads towards the door and raised our brows, almost in unison. Lyall is in the middle of pulling his pants up around his waist and has his belt in his mouth. We bring our voices down to a whisper. How do they know I'm in here? Oh. Maybe someone saw you heading this way? Yeah, but Think of what Adria said earlier, and it sends a shiver up my spine. Just a moment! I yell this towards the door as I put my slacks and throw my shirt on without buttoning it. I walk towards the door and open it. No, it's this fucker. It's this fucker. Why is it this guy? It's the servant from earlier. Yes?
Lord Richter, the king wishes to see you in his chambers.
Oh, right. Was it even that high? I don't know. I'd completely forgotten about that. I had completely forgotten that he wanted to speak with me later.
He left during the ball to take care of some urgent business. I was sent to come and get you some time ago, but you were no longer there. I'm told that you left the ball, but saw Sir Reed following behind you?
He leans in and stares at Lyall, standing there shirtless. Yes, I did. There was a slight altercation, but all is well. His nose twitches and he straightens up.
The king has been waiting a long time. I suggest you find him at once.
I'll leave as soon as I can.
Very well. I trust you can find your way. His room is right down this hall and up the stairs.
I'll be there as soon as I can. Start to close the door slowly as I say this.
Good.
After closing the door softly, I lean against it. I guess I should get dressed. I'll come with you. No, it's fine. Shouldn't take long, and I'll be back as soon as I'm done. Plus, I want you in that bed when I get back. We can pick up where we left off. Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna go clean up, if that's okay with you. Silly, you don't need my permission. Quickly put my clothes on and head for the door. How's my hair look? Looks as great as ever, love. You sure? Of course. Alright. I'll be back in a few minutes, hopefully. Love you. Love you too. Oh. They're so friendly. They're so friendly now. Closing the door behind me, I turn and begin to walk down the hall. It's a very long hallway with a... It's a very long hallway with a lot of doors that most likely lead to other royal apartments. Royal apartments. I reach the end of the hallway and there's a large archway that leads to a pair of spiral stairs going up. Judging by where I think we are in the castle, I suggest this leads to one of the towers. This feels familiar somehow. A lot of things feel familiar lately. There are two guards standing at the front of the entrance to the stairs. It takes a moment, but I realize that these are the two guards from a while back. Wait. A while. Is a while 2 words or is it 1 word? I think it's 1 word. But I think it's 2 words sometimes? I don't know. I was like, have I been spelling a while wrong? I'm not sure. The ones that were patrolling the hall after Lyall and I met Kadaj. The bear stands straight with a large bastard sword pointed at the floor in front of him. The eagle is leaned against the wall with a dull look on his face. I approach the entrance and pause to wait for their approval. The bear looks down at me with a crooked smile. You've kept our king waiting an awfully long time, little lord. I turn and give him an incredulous look before walking forward. They aren't worth my time. Nobody is. Nobody but him. Richter's being weird. Richter's being weird. I start to ascend the staircase, and as I reach the top, I realize this isn't that large of a climb. There's only about 20 or 30 steps. When I reach the top, there's a common area and a large set of double doors with the Ajian crest in the center, surrounding the symbol of Tigran. Large bushes filled with flowers adorn the ceiling of this area, and a big window shines moonlight onto the floors. Petals fall into the ground in front of me as I step forward. I feel the leaves crunch under my shoes. Raynar loves his plants. I reach the doors and pull one of them open. It's a lot less heavy than I thought it would be, and it swings open with ease. One of the first things I notice is a large amount of curtains and drapes. It's so green. They obscure the moonlight, and I can barely see a thing. The room is more like a large hall framed with canopies of white cloth, almost completely obscuring the walls and ceilings, like the ballroom. Okay, it's not actually green. It's like I just walked into a larger version of a child's blanket fortress. I can see a canopy bed up ahead with large drapes and a small bit of light off to the right. The headboard is decorated with large antlers formed from silver. I'd say that chills run down my spine for some reason, but I think I have several reasons. Why is it so dark in here, and where is he? Maybe he got tired of waiting for me and left? Not sure if the ball is still going on anymore, considering it's been a couple hours. Hell, the village's festival ended much earlier in the day. I wouldn't be surprised if the ball didn't go too late into the night either. Everyone would have to go back to work tomorrow, so I'd understand them wanting to go to sleep early. I can feel myself getting slightly delirious too, and all I can think about is crawling back into Lyall's bed. I snap back to reality and realize my thoughts were trailing off again. I don't want to snoop around his room without him here, so I turn towards the door and grab the handle. ... No. Something catches my eye before I leave. This isn't right. There's a framed painting that has fallen to the floor off of one of the dressers. The glass slate on the inside is broken, and pieces are scattered across the carpet. Slowly, I walk up to the frame, brushing aside the ivory drapes. Feels like I'm walking through a giant spider web. Kneel down to the floor and slide a bit of the painting out from the frame. It's a portrait of the royal family. It's small but extremely detailed. The queen is sitting in an elegant chair wearing an orange and white dress. Creamsicle. Something that you would wear outdoors during the spring. She's like a clownfish, dressed up like a clownfish. She's Nemo. On her lap is a small Adrius. He's smiling and holding his mother's hand. She's grinning down at him, and I notice her eyes are a beautiful golden brown, just like her son's. Behind the two of them is Raynar, his hand on her shoulder, looking down at the two of them. His face is plastered with a large grin, which feels weird, because I don't think I've seen him smile like that before. I take the portrait and set it down on the dresser. As I turn to my left, I notice something even more disturbing. There's large rips through the canopy of the bed. The moonlight shines through them and casts small strips of light onto the neatly made bed. What happened here? Toss a few drapes aside and rush towards the window on the other side of the bed. Oh no. That's not good. Lightning strikes outside, illuminating and casting a bright light onto the surface of every object in the room. At first, I don't believe what I'm looking at. It's like when you're trying to remember a dream from the night before, and it's all blurry and distorted. No. Raynar's lying on the ground in a crumpled position. His legs are spread out and sticking out from behind the bed. That's when I notice the blood. The curtains shine with the crimson substance. There's even a few spots where it's been smudged. The front of his body is splattered with a few strands and drops of it, and his hooves glisten with scarlet liquid. My legs become weak and I drop to my knees. My hands fall to the bloodstained floor to catch myself. No, no, no. I bring my face to look up at him, and I see his own. His eyes are wide open and his head is angled towards the window. They look as if they're staring at nothing, with tear stains streaming down his cheeks, empty and glazed. I'm not sure if he's completely dead yet or not. The body still looks fresh. His throat has been cut to the bone, blood pooling out onto his chest and then onto the floor beneath him, creating a dark puddle. I think I can also see several stab wounds in his chest, but it could just be stains. Surprisingly, it doesn't look like blood was sprayed anywhere. Watch most of it slowly seep out from his throat in thick coagulated streams. My eyes start to water, but no tears come out. Too shocked by the situation. Foolish thought enters my mind that this might just be one of those nightmares. I imagine waking up in Lyall's arms as he comforts me. It's not gonna happen though. This isn't a dream. I describe it as a nightmare, but it's not one of those either. This is real. Thunder flashes outside again, and I can see the reflection of it in his eyes. Who did this? There are guards outside of the entrance to this tower. To my left is a dagger. The blade is dripping with blood and stains the carpeted floor it rests on. It doesn't look like a special blade. The dagger looks like something you would buy at your average smith. My eyes trail back up to his cold face, and the reality of the situation comes down on me like a flood. Look up and notice some of the blood has been dripping off of one of the drapes and onto my coat. There's already a large stain forming. At first, my body doesn't know what to do. I'm stuck kneeling there on the ground, frozen in fear. My heart is beating out of my chest, and 1,000 thoughts are running through my head. Questions I so desperately wish to have answered. I try to stand up, but it takes me a moment. My head is splitting open again, and I can barely think. Once I'm on my knees and dry my tears, I take a look around. I have to go and tell someone. The guards. I stumble towards the door, not looking back. As I'm making my way around a desk, one of my legs gives out and I collapse to the floor. No. All of a sudden, a massive pain shoots up my spine and through my head. Why now? The pain becomes unbearable and let out a horrible yell of agony. My eyes feel like they're about to fall on my head. The door up ahead opens. Your Majesty? Yours. He cuts himself off, and I hear him turn to someone behind him as I struggle to get up. Something's wrong. Stay here. At this point, I can barely hear the sounds of heavy footsteps over my own heartbeat. I manage to bring myself to a kneeling position. Stop right there. It's a bear. Is this? I wonder... Okay, so... The obvious thing here is, like, they're gonna think it was Richter, right? He stands over me with his sword drawn. What have you... He looks at me, then down at my hands before rushing over to the bed, his cape billowing behind him. At first, I don't hear anything. It's as if the whole world has gone silent. All I can hear is the blood rushing through my veins. Finn, alert the castle. King Raynar is dead. What? But he was only in here for... Go, now. I'll deal with it. I hear footsteps run out into the hall and down the stairs. Slowly, I wrench my body around so I'm facing the knight. He prepares to raise his sword. You'll die for this, foreign scum. His heart is racing, and I find myself unable to get a clear sentence out. My heart is racing. I quickly gather myself. He brings his sword down, and I swiftly roll to the side. Sword catches in the ground and gets stuck. I'm now on all fours and try to break into a sprint. I can't remember the last time I've done this. I don't have time to revel in my reflexes, though. My feet slip on the floor, but I regain control and bound towards the door. Just as I reach the entryway, the rug gives out and I slip, slamming my forehead into the ground. Ouch. Everything goes hazy in an act of sheer will. I lift myself up and turn around, trying to regain my vision. The bear has pulled his sword out from the ground and is lumbering towards me. Please, you're making a terrible mistake. What is the meaning of this? It's Lyall. Lyall rushes into the doorway, his paw placed on the pommel of his dagger, ready to draw. I watch his eyes settle on me, then he looks up to the bear. Sir Bjorn, lay down your sword this instant. He killed the king. His eyes contract, and I watch the fear wash over his body. What? He looks behind us at the body laying on the floor. Caught him trying to run away from the scene of the crime. No, it wasn't like that. I was running to... Quiet. Lyall then looks down at me. His face has a mixture of shock and anger. He looks up at Bjorn. Lay down your sword. His voice is shaking. This is the first time I've seen him shout, and it's terrifying. Bjorn is reluctant, but he lowers his sword. He walks up to me and stands over me for a moment. Lyall, please. I didn't. It wasn't me. Looks down at me with fear and then looks up at Bjorn. I can see he's clearly conflicted. My heart is thumping in my chest and I feel like a cornered animal. Lyall then bends down and grabs my arm. He's not gripping me too hard, but slowly lifts me up. Lord Richter, you are under arrest for suspicion of crimes against the Kingdom of Lyre and the murder of King Raynar Ajin. He takes a pair of shackles and binds my It's behind me. What? Is this seriously happening? Lyall! Lyall, you know I didn't do it. Bjorn is standing by the king, clearly not happy with this outcome. I'll take him to the dungeons. No. I'll take him. Has the rest of the castle already been alerted? See him tighten his grip on the pommel of his dagger. Yes, I sent Finn to alert the castle. His grip loosens, and I feel him tug on my shackles. As we turn away, he whispers in my ear quickly. It's an extremely quiet whisper, but I pick up on it. Trust me. A slight wave of relief washes over me. I don't know what he could possibly have planned, but anything is better than being executed on the spot for a crime I didn't commit. He begins to lead me to the door. Bjorn, I need you to stay here and wait for the others to arrive. I'm sure that they will be here soon. Understood. Bjorn lumbers over to Raynar's body, getting down on one knee. Lyall leads me out into the hallway, and he almost breaks into a sprint. He doesn't talk. He just looks straight ahead. After we descend the spiral staircase, he slows his pace a bit. Can't tell if he's angry at me or not. Lyall, you know I didn't do it, right? More silence. I hear bells start to toll off in the distance. They send a foreboding feeling running up my spine. My eyes start to water as the fear takes over. Every part of my body is shaking. We come to a junction in one of the hallways. There's loud commotion up ahead, so he takes me down another hall. Once we reach the ground floor, we spot Kadaj walking down the hall with 2 Drizzian guards behind him. Lyall keeps moving forward, not paying him any mind. Richter, what in the name of Tigran has happened? Lyall ignores this and keeps walking. All I can do is look at him with a desperate expression. I don't know what I can do right now. I'm still recovering from the shock, but I find it very hard with all the shaking. I think Kadaj realizes something is terribly wrong, so he starts to walk faster towards the commotion, his guards following quickly behind him. We descend further and further down into the castle's lower floors. It becomes colder and colder, and I can feel goosebumps rising on my skin. Lyall takes me down a hall with several cell doors. He goes to the very end and unlocks a door that leads to a large cell. It's terribly dark down here, and my eyes don't have time to adjust to the shadows. I can barely even see Lyall. Richter. Yes? Hear him fall to his knees. He's crying, I can tell. He wraps his arms around me and pulls me into a tight hug. While he does this, he also unlocks the restraints around my wrists. They fall to the ground behind me with a thud, landing on something soft. I'm so sorry. I should have went with you from the beginning. I didn't want you to feel like I was babying you. I should have gone with you, though. It's my job, I should have gone with you, I should have... I grasp his face from what I can see in the dark and give him a kiss. You couldn't have known. He gasps and lets out a shaky exhale. What had happened up there? I don't know. Walked into his chambers and the entire place was dark. He wasn't there, so I went to leave. But then saw how trashed the room was. After that's when I found him. His hand comes up to my mouth as I remember the vivid imagery. I try my best to hold myself back from vomiting. Thankfully, I keep it down. I don't know why they think it was me. You were found at the scene of the crime. Nobody else could have gotten in there, so it had to be you in their eyes. And why was he dead? I don't know. The body was freshly killed, too. You don't actually think I... Of course not. He lets out a shaky sigh and hugs me. I had to arrest you. Otherwise, you would have been executed on the spot. Why were they going to do that? They aren't supposed to, but Bjorn isn't a rule follower. He likes to seek justice in his own way. He pauses and I can feel him shaking. Lyall, you just saved my life. Hugs me tighter and then releases me. You'll have to spend the night here. Okay, now I'll have to go. This makes my heart sink, but I accept it. Okay, I'm so sorry. We'll get this all sorted out, don't worry. They'll understand. With that, he gives me a soft kiss on the cheek. He stands there and I can hear him lock the door behind me. I love you, Richter. I'll come back for you. Sir Reed, the prince. Yes, I know. The last noise I hear other than the chiming bells is the sound of his footsteps as they run off. I don't know what to do. A million thoughts run through my head, but they all conjoin at the same path. What happens next? I find a stone bench in the dark and lay down on it. Tears stream down the side of my face, but I don't care anymore. All I can do is succumb to the darkness as I pass out. No dreams tonight. Just one word echoes through my mind like a bell. Wits. Brilliant. Brilliant, Richter. It's chapter 7. Huh. Well. That was a very fun. Oh, jeez. It was pretty heavy. Wasn't expecting things to go wrong so soon. But we'll continue. Reality slowly drifts in front of my face, in a similar way to how a ray of sunshine would cast a red glow on the inside of your eyelids. Every day, waking up becomes harder and harder. Sometimes I can't even understand if this is a normal thing or if I'm just weak. I was never a morning person. Slowly, each of my 5 senses come back to me. I immediately remember where I am and why I'm here. Usually when I wake up in a new or unfamiliar face, I'm struck with a bit of confusion before realizing where I am. It's different this time, though. This isn't like waking up in another person's house after spending the night with them. Is this a medieval experience? This is different because the events that led to it haunted my dreams. You said you weren't gonna have any dreams, Richter. You said you weren't gonna have any dreams. You said there was only one word, and the only word you heard while you were asleep was wits. You said you weren't gonna have dreams, Richter. What the heck, Richter? You lied to me. You immediately lied to me, Richter. I knew I was gonna have to wake up to this. Images of Raynar's body slumped onto the floor, with soulless eyes invade my mind, but I try not to think about any of that yet, as I'm not fully awake. I strain my eyes open wider, and wipe the feeling of dried tears from my face. The stone bench that I'm laying down on is cold and smooth. Painfully, I sit up and look around. What I assumed to be a sack that I was lying my head on was actually a pillow made from straw and ragged cloth. There's a large tarp bundled up at the end of the bench, which I guess is supposed to be a blanket. It wasn't too cold last night, but I wish I had known that it was there. The cell wouldn't be too bad if the bed wasn't a giant slab of rock. Better off sleeping on the floor. The only window is a small hole busted into the wall that's barred off. On the other side is a cell door that's locked with heavy chains. Along with that is straw laid all over the floor and a few puddles of water. The shackles that I wore for a short time last night are laying there in a pile of straw. That's where they must have fallen after Lyall took them off me. I get up from my sitting position and stand, stretching out my legs and arms. My clothes feel dusty, and any skin I have exposed feels dry and dirty. My hair feels messy, and I shake my head, letting it straighten itself, before haphazardly tying back again. I don't really care about it looking nice anymore. I would just rather not have any hair in my eyes. I'd cut it, but I have a feeling Lyall likes it too much. Lyall. He said he would come back for me, but he didn't say when. Now that I think about it, why hasn't anything happened yet? Shouldn't someone have come down to see me now, good or bad intentions? I sit back down on the slab of stone. My mind seems to be all over the place. I can't decide what to think about. I try to distract myself with other issues, but my thoughts always wander back to the worst place. Raynar is dead. They all think I did it, except Lyall, of course. I'm honestly surprised he doesn't think it's me, though. The body was freshly killed and I was the only one there. If only I could function better under stress. Can't believe this. If I wanted to kill Raynar, I probably would have planned it, so I'm not standing there like an idiot when it happens. Shock really took me over there. And also got another one of those sudden headaches. If I get out of this, I need to get those checked out. Whatever they are caused by, it can't be good. Tapping my feet on the ground in front of me, I notice a chair that's been thrown against the wall. Its pieces are scattered all over the floor and look old and rotten. Who could have killed him? Several people come to mind, but when I think about it, I don't know what any of them are capable of. Nobody reasonable really comes to mind. There is one thing I am certain of, though. I was framed. Someone has it out for me, and I don't know who. I could sit here and rack my brain for hours, but I soon hear footsteps echoing down the damp hall. I don't get up from my seat until I really start to listen to the footsteps. They're extremely familiar. I jump up and run to the cell door. Lyall? He gets closer, and soon I can see him down the bend of the hall. Richter? He approaches the door to the cell. There's a look of worry on his face, and I can tell he's been having a rough day. He probably has it worse than I do. I limply reach my hand through one of the bars. He gets on his knees and takes it in his paw. I'm sorry, I should have come down sooner. I wasn't able to, though. Why not? His sad and tired eyes look up at mine, and I can see the stress. The entire kingdom is in shambles. Rumors are already beginning to spread throughout the town, and everyone thinks that you killed Raynar. It's only a matter of time before this spreads throughout the rest of the north. I figured that would happen. Has anything worse happened? No, but the worst is yet to come. Everyone is scared, confused, and furious. I and several others were up half the night with Liz trying to wrap our heads around it. Others? Yes. Anyone who was a witness and several other officials. The prince joined us halfway through. How's he taking it? Not well. The bell started ringing and he locked himself in his room after finding out. He didn't even want to see the body, but to be honest, I wouldn't want to see it either if I were him. One of the guards told me that he could hear sobbing and things being thrown around the room. Oh god. Probably thinks I did it. I wouldn't blame him, but I really don't need more reasons for him to hate me right now. He joined us about an hour later. Not before kicking over your chair, of course. I can't imagine that. Well, he can honestly be forgiven for losing his temper. Agreed. He had enough stability to contribute to our little debate last night, however. What has been discussed so far? Sits down in front of the cell door, leans his head back against the wall. I do the same, finding a nice pile of straw to sit down on. We mostly tried to figure out what we were going to do next. Laying our king to rest was one of the topics. That should be taken care of soon. I still can't believe he's dead. Neither can I. He wanted to be buried next to his wife. Behind the gardens. Yeah. How did you know where she's buried? I was taking a walk through the gardens after we visited the village, when I happened upon the grave. Raynar was there, and we talked for a bit. You came back to my room drunk that night, so I didn't get to tell you. Yeah. He was paying his respects, and I caught him in a bit of a vulnerable moment. After that, we just talked for a bit. He went there every month. Right now, they're already making the arrangements to have him buried there. The biggest topic was what this means. Some see it as an act of war, but I doubt that. I feel there's something far more sinister at play. I feel the same way. Given the exchange of ambassadors was proposed by the King of Erin, Prince Adrius thinks that you were sent to cause chaos and weaken Lyre. That's ridiculous. Erin would never dream of starting conflict between the kingdoms. Why would they want to start a war with Lyre and Dries? That's not what they're thinking. Majority of people see this as an attack on Lyre from both kingdoms. What? They have reason to suspect that Dries is a part of this plot. The Kingdom of Lyre has been becoming more and more isolated over the years. Trade has been slowing down, and they have suspicions that Aaron and Dries are trying to seize control to benefit themselves. At least, that's what I heard. I'm not a politician. This doesn't make any sense. Seize control. Improving relations between the kingdoms is a desirable outcome, simply due to the fact that all of the kingdoms would benefit equally. Starting a conflict, let alone a full-on war, would be detrimental to the entirety of Tigran. No, I don't think that's what's happening. Neither do I. It just doesn't make any sense. Either way, even though Lord Kadaj was appointed Minister of Foreign Relations, Prince Adrias considers him a political hostage. Nothing too serious has been decided yet, considering Dries is only under suspicion of collusion. I assure you, I haven't been scheming with Kadaj. I know. Trust me, Richter, I believe you. Can't help but remember the conversation that Kadaj and I had the other day. They fear that Lyall is falling out of touch with the rest of the kingdoms. So it's true. The kingdoms do fear that Lyall is falling out of touch. Lyre is falling out of touch. Even some of the citizens of Lyre feel this way. He said his goal was to bring stability, so he couldn't have a hand in this. Right? We'll just take him at face value. Could he? I don't remember seeing him before I left the party last night. Thankfully, Liz somewhat agrees with me. Really? Yes. We love competent and stable women. We love competent and stable women against the delusional, chaotic, maniacal men in these gay furry visual novels, right? We love the grounded, stable, competent woman character. Yes. She also believes that there's something far more complex going on here. The only bad part is she's still conflicted on whether or not she thinks you're the one who did it or not. That makes sense, she doesn't really know me. Anything she does know would definitely be confusing. I tried to convince all of them that you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. That you were framed. What did they think of that? Liz seemed to consider it as a possibility. Prince Adrias is currently blinded by hatred, but in the near future I can see him considering it as well. I doubt that. It's nice to hear I'm not seen as completely guilty yet. Each moment we continue to talk about this, and every second I learn what's happening, I get more and more stressed. There's another thing. He sits up a bit and leads towards the cell door. We have a lot more information considering the scene of the murder. That's what I've been doing most of the time. Was there anything that could prove my innocence? Nothing yet. But there has been some very helpful insight. Like what? Well, first there's the body. He was stabbed twice in the stomach, once in the chest, and then most likely had his throat slit to finish the job. Raynar was most likely caught off guard. His antlers tore through the drapes after getting caught in a struggle. We found flakes of gold stuck on the cloth next to the ribs. They were from the antler that he had decorated for the ball. I feel my insides twist around a bit as I recall the image of the room. Yes, that's interesting, but are there any important revelations? Yes, there is. The guards confirmed to us the people who had been in the room around the time before his death. Who else was there? The guards posted outside of the staircase that leads up to the tower to his room confirmed that 4 people had been in there around that time. One of the guards, Bjorn. Lord Kadaj, you, and of course Raynar. With Bjorn going in and out within the hour. I knew it. What? Kadaj wasn't at the party when we left, was he? I don't remember seeing him. I think he and Raynar must have slipped out early. Maybe to take care of something similar to what he had in mind with me. That's most likely what happened. We questioned him a little last night, and he said he was handling some important business with Raynar. Official questioning hasn't begun yet, but maybe he knows what happened. Or maybe leans forward in interest. What? Maybe he had a hand in it. Has he never considered this possibility? Did Lyall never consider this possibility? Like, he had to have, right? He had to have at least considered the possibility. And earlier in the story, he said he didn't really trust people like Kadaj anyway. His eyes gleam with shock at first, but I see his thoughts and watch as he considers the possibility, as if he'd already done it before. Even I have to admit it's not something I would want to believe, but given the things he's said in the past, it's not far off. He alluded to events going in an undesirable direction after the winter solstice. Lyall speaks up. It's not impossible. Bjorn is currently giving him his full report to Liz, so we'll find out soon, I guess. But yes, it's completely possible for him to have done it. Do you think he did it? Like Lyall said, it's possible, but I don't want to believe it. Bjorn could have done it too. Are we sure no one else was in there last night? Positive. Not only do we have Bjorn's brief report, but several canines, including myself, sniffed around the room. Oh yeah, that would be helpful. Forgot you could do that. It's funny to imagine Lyall with his nose pressed to the ground, sniffing like a bloodhound. Doubt that's how he did it, though. Yes. We only picked up the scent of 4 people. Those are the people who were noted. Damn. There goes my hopes of it being someone else. There was a long silence before I finally answered his question from before. Yeah, I was gonna say the only other thing was if someone, like, climbed the tower and entered it through the window. But apparently we know for sure that no one else was in the room besides who was mentioned. So is the rest of this... is the rest of the story just gonna be, like, a murder mystery? I wonder what's gonna happen from here. There's a long silence before I finally answer his question from before. He asked if I think it's him. The thing is, I don't want it to be, but it definitely could be. I agree. I thought you didn't trust him, or at the very least, didn't like him. He slumps down lower in his sitting position. I didn't trust him because I saw him as a man with a motive. Someone who wanted to climb the ranks. I never would have imagined he would do something like this. He pinches the part of his muzzle between his eyes and runs a paw over his head. I too want to believe that it wasn't him, but only because it would mean Dries had nothing to do with this. He lowers his paw and looks at the floor. That would leave Bjorn. If it was him, then it would mean it's not a foreign attack, which would make this a lot more complicated. Also don't think it could be him. He's always been a beast, but his devotion to this kingdom is unchallenged. I guess that makes sense. Still, it has to be one of them. Unless... what is it? Adrius. What if he... It's not out of the question, but it's extremely improbable. Especially with the evidence we have so far. What if it was patricide? No way. Right? Little baby cutie Adrius would never do such a thing. He would never do that. What? What are you saying? You know what patricide is, right? Unless he blames Raynar for his mother's death and did it as revenge. That's the only way. That's the only way. But Adrius wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. Come on. He wouldn't do that. Adrius wouldn't do it. You know what patricide is, right? Of course I know what patricide is. You think Adrius killed his dad? I shrug my shoulders. It's not an impossibility. He wasn't in the room at the time, though. I know. He was out in the village last night. I saw him by the fountain. Huh. Weird. Lyall thinks for a moment. That explains why the exit to the tunnel was unlocked. But still, you said it yourself, he wasn't even there. You don't have to be in the same room as someone to have them killed. Even so, we don't know if he was out there the whole night. What motive would he have? He says this in a hushed whisper, annoyance in his voice. Not everyone needs a motive, but his is easy to figure out. Richter, He cuts himself off and thinks for a moment. Don't you think you're being a little biased? No. I mean, we have to consider all possibilities. Looks down at the ground and wrinkles his snout. I understand what you're saying. And I know you also don't like him. I know he doesn't like you, too. Hell, even I'm not particularly fond of him. Lately, they may have been a bit distant or short with each other due to stress, but you've only been here a month. You haven't seen their full relationship. He loved his father, and his father loved him. He bites his lip a bit, but continues. Last night, he was enraged. He was going through so many emotions, and they all felt genuine. And you know how I'm a good judge on these things. I know, I just thought I would throw it out there. Just had this feeling that it might be true. Why? I don't know for sure. He's been saying things to me recently. I had the feeling that he has it out for me. His hatred, his distrust of Richter outshines his love for his father. That'd be crazy. Right. Adrius would be a generational hater if that was true. He'd be a generational hater. He curls his lip in response to this. Not too long ago, Kadaj gave me some advice. To trust my own judgment and rely on what I know. To put trust in other people, but never as much as I trust myself. Lyall runs a paw through his fur, listening intently. I can just feel in my gut that he has something to do with this. His paws brush up against his knees and he considers it. I don't know, Richter. Maybe you're right, but we should stop throwing around suspects. By that logic, we could suspect the damn servant that saw me half naked last night. Maybe he killed the king and went to go and frame you. He exhales and gathers himself. But that doesn't mean he was the one who did it. You have to focus on the solid suspects that we have now. That's our best chance at proving your innocence. Suddenly a sharp pain shoots through my body, straight up to my head. Shouldn't we be considering all of our options? My life depends on this. Shout this at him, the searing pain taking over. Upsets him. Once the pain is gone, I instantly regret it. I'm sorry, Lyall. I didn't mean to yell at you, It's fine, I understand. I know this must be stressful for you. No, it's more than that. I'm just tired of talking about this. I lay back on the floor and stare at the ceiling. Something's wrong with me. Like what? I'm not sure. Mainly it's these headaches I've been having, but something else too. I feel like things are going so fast. Like I'm on a carriage going down a hill and there's no way to stop it. Pause to collect my thoughts, knowing I'm about to go on a very large rant. Oh god. I've always tried to keep a level head. I was trained to become a master of my emotions. Sometimes I slip. Situations become too stressful, and nothing prepares you for what happened last night. I froze. It's been happening all the time. I get stressed out and I make impulsive decisions and do stupid things. I run my hands through my hair and squint my eyes. The pain's still thumping in my head. Lyall, I'm so scared. I don't know, but Richter having the headaches and things is pretty weird. It's pretty weird to think about. Like, there is a possibility that Richter, like, did kill Raynar, and he just, like, doesn't know it. Like he's like a sleeper agent or something, and he just gets, like, possessed momentarily, and, like, stuff happens. That's probably not the case, but it is a possibility. It is a possibility that Richter got, like, possessed or something and killed Raynar. That'd be crazy, though. That's probably not the case, but... He shuffles on the ground a bit, and then leans forward, a solemn look on his face. I know how you feel, Richter. Believe me, I do. Sometimes we try our best to prepare for anything. Looks down at his paw, opening and closing the fingers. But fear gets the better of us. Sometimes it can control us and influence our actions. He looks out a window to our left with a conflicted expression on his face. Richter. Do you know the reason why I blame myself for our queen's death? Why is he bringing this up? It's because you could have stopped it, right? Yes. Stares off into space for a moment before continuing. When I had my eye cut, I couldn't move. Blood was pouring into my eye, and I thought the worst had happened. Fear took over, and I froze up. He rubs his paw over his eye. My officer tried to shake me and get me up, but I lost my footing. I wasn't in the moment. Everything happened so fast, and I was scared. The words echo down the corridor. He looks up at me. It haunted me for a long time, Richter. I even approached Raynar about it a few years ago because of the pain. I asked him, how could I have been brave in that situation? He gave me some advice. He said, you can't be brave unless you are afraid. Along with, otherwise you're just reckless, but that's besides the point. He gives a slight smile. And he's right. You have to stay brave. Fear can help with that. And with that, he ends his speech. I guess I understand what you're saying. I aimlessly fiddle with the ring on my finger as I take it all in. I'll need to work on that. It's pretty good advice. He was full of good advice. Says this with a sense of pride. You really admired him, didn't you? It was more than just your dedication as a knight. I did. Ever since I started living here, he was like my second father. I was practically raised by him in my teen years. Please tell me you've had time to grieve. Not really. I have to focus on what's going on now. It's what he would have wanted me to do. He would be very proud of you, Lyall. He gives a slight smile. I hope so. And I'm gonna make him even more proud. I'm gonna do everything in my power to get you out of here, love. Raynar may be dead, but I'm going to continue to follow through with the orders he gave me. I will assist you in any way I can. He stands and sticks a paw through the bars. I get up and take it in my own hand. I love you, Lyall. I love you too, Richter. I just hope we're doing the right thing. You know, by being together. What do you mean? Well, it's just that. I love you, Richter. He said everything was moving too fast. If you want to slow down, we can. Run my hand over his paw, feeling the pads beneath the glove and running my fingers along his. Lyall. I wouldn't say this from my experience, but I know one thing about this world. Love happens in all kinds of ways. Sometimes it's slow, other times it's fast. Sometimes it's between people who are similar. Sometimes it's between people who are very, very different. I say this as I run my hand across his cheek. You're very different from me. It's happening very fast. It happened at a very chaotic time in our lives, but this is the only fast thing in my life that I'm enjoying. You're my light in the dark. Aww. He leans forward, pressing his snout through the bars, and gives me a kiss on the forehead. You make me so happy, Richter. Next time I come down here to visit you, I'm gonna see about unlocking this door. Maybe I'll even get you better living arrangements, but I don't know if I have control over that. Definitely put you in one of the better cells, though. Appreciate everything you've done so far. He gives a slight bashful smile. I do wonder how long Richter's going to be down here. Because this is a thing that happens in stories. They do like the protagonist is imprisoned plot. But like the thing about the protagonist is imprisoned plot is that it's just really boring to have to write about the protagonist like sitting in a prison cell for multiple days. And as a reader, it's also boring to like have to read about it. So I do wonder how long Richter's going to be in this heckin' cell. He gives a slight bashful smile. Speaking of, I should probably be going. Have a lot to do and can't be gone for long. Oh yes, I'm sure our new king is just itching to order you around. I say this rolling my eyes. Actually, he's still the prince. Really? But he's the hare. I never know how to say hare. He's the hare? No, he's not. He's a deer. He's not a hare. He's a deer. But he's the heir. Heir. He's the heir. He hasn't been crowned yet. Until then, as the king's head advisor, Liz is acting queen. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Oh, so that's why she's been handling everything. Yes. This whole ordeal has put a heavy burden on her shoulders. It's even worse considering she just got back. She's handling it well, though. Responsibility is one of her strengths. He rubs a finger on one of the metal bars, collecting dust on the tip of his glove before rubbing it off. Speaking of them, others might come down to talk to you, ask questions and whatnot. I know you're smart, so play this situation to your strengths. Okay, I'll try. I will never let anyone hurt you. He takes my hand in his large paws and leans closer to the bars, looking into my eyes. Not even the prince? Not even the prince. I'll tell him, listen, you little friend, she's mine. There's a moment of blissful silence as we just enjoy each other's presence before he has to leave. His forehead is pressed to mine, and I feel warmth. It's like whenever he's around, nothing else matters. He pulls away, still holding my hand. I'll be back, love. I always will. Oh. Steps away slowly, trying to hold my hand. My fingertips slide off of his gloved paw, and he begins to walk away. Love you, Lyall. There's a pause, and I hear him turn around. I love you too, Richter. Gonna do my best to help you in any way I can. After that, I hear him walk off. Sound of his padded feet walking down the halls fades away, and with each step getting quieter, I feel more and more cold. I can't even hear him pass a guard. I can even hear him pass the guard on the way out of the corridor, but I can't make out what he says. The air and the weather begin to take over as I begin to feel weak. Hey guys, this episode got a little long, and also it's already pretty hectic, so we're going to cut it off here. We'll continue Lyre next time.